So today a student says to me, I don't know how to study. And I was like, well, this is high school. I mean, if you haven't learned how to study yet, then there's something fundamentally wrong. But he says, I don't know how to study. And I said, I teach coding. I teach Python as one of the languages. And I said, what don't you understand? He goes, well, I don't know how to study. I said, okay. I go, tell me about your favorite video game. And he goes, I play a lot of games. I go, and this kid always plays video games on his phone. And I ask him, what is the number one game on your phone that you play constantly all the time that you're really good at? And he goes, Clash, I think it's called Clash Royale or something like that. And then so I pull it up on my screen and then I cast it onto the projector behind me and I say, is this the game? He goes, yeah, it's the game. I'm like, what are all these pieces? What does this do? And he goes, oh, well, this tower does this and this enemy does this, but this player does this. And I ask him, I go, what are all the little cards? What are these power-ups? And he spends probably about 10 minutes telling me what all the power-ups are in this game. And I said, so you're really good at this game? And he goes, yeah. I was like, how did you get good at this game? And he said, oh, I play it a lot. I go, oh, so let me get this straight. You learn the system by observing the system. You learned all the rules of the system. You manipulate the rules of the system so you can benefit from the system. And then by doing all this, you win. He goes, yeah. It's like, well, shit. I guess you do know how to study. And he says, well, that's not the same. I'm like, how is it not the same? If you spend all that time observing how a system operates, all the rules of the system, how all the pieces go together, the interactions between everything, and then making inferences about how these different things work, then you can apply that concept to everything else that you do in school throughout the day. So I don't want to hear this bullshit that you don't know how to study. You absolutely know how to study. You just showed me that you can study and learn from a video game and then be really good at it. You can do the same thing in school. So anybody that says, or any students that are listening that says, I don't know how to study or I can't do well in school, yes, you can. You just have to observe how the system works and what its rules are.